If you want to do rental arbitrage and be successful on Airbnb, you're going to have to start taking it way more seriously. What I'm about to drop on you may be like a paradigm game changer for a lot of you newbies out there, but you seasoned hosts are dropping the ball on this one as well. I'm about to teach you the lifetime value of a phone number when you're prospecting for a property on Airbnb. This is Sean Rocky G's Airbnb Automated, and let's get you into some Airbnb properties. Welcome back, Airbnb family. So first off, I need your like. I didn't come on this video looking like I stepped off a great Poupon commercial to not get your like right now. And if you're new to the channel, welcome. This may be the very most fun place to learn how to run a business. And we talk about Airbnb businesses here. We help you build multi-million-dollar Airbnb platform, portfolio platforms, whatever you want to call it. I have some myself. I've got a lot of properties. And so I wanted to talk to you about prospecting for Airbnb properties. I want to talk to you about landlords. I want to talk to you about that whole front-end deal thing. So I had a consulting call today and it was wonderful, but they asked me specifically about like business cards. That's how this started. What should my business cards look like? And because I want to plan on giving them out to management and stuff like that and landlords. I was like, oh, no. You do not go get business cards. That is not what you're going to do. It's a waste of your time. First off, they're expensive. Second, you have to make good ones, like high quality paper, good printing, double-sided, also expensive. And third, you need to know how to design a business card or pay somebody, again, also expensive, to make you a business card. And it's not going to get used appropriately anyway. But what you can do is you can make an e-business card in your phone. You can make a contact of yourself, profile photo as your logo, name, phone number, email, secondary contacts. You can have testimonials inside of your e-contact. You can have all sorts of crazy, awesome stuff. It's more like a brochure than a business card by the time you get done with it. And when a landlord says, hey, do you have a business card? Be like, no, but I have a phone. Let's exchange contacts. Here, what's your phone number? I'm going to text it to you. And I'm sure Android, iPhone, they have systems that allow you to share a contact without texting anybody, but you can airdrop a contact, right? Something like that. So yes, give somebody your contact for them to save, and then poof. Now you get their phone number in exchange when you text them your contact, so that means you can follow up with them. It's not just like handing a business card. There is kind of like rules of the road. If somebody gives you a business card, you kind of have to like honor the fact that they gave it to you and like look at it with both hands, and there's like a bunch of rules for that. But that's not the point. The point here is that there's a lot of work to get a phone number with a landlord, and that thing is extremely valuable. Your contact is valuable. Don't waste it on a business card. So now that you've got a landlord's phone number, this is really where the magic will come in. And this is where a lot of you guys are doing this wrong. You guys are all afraid of rejection. You guys are like just dead afraid of rejection. So you call a landlord and say, hey, I would like to Airbnb your property. And then they say no. And you're like, okay, bye, click, and you lose the phone number. Never, ever throw away a landlord's phone number ever, because just because it didn't work now does not mean it's not going to work later, and that phone number is worth some money. We're going to talk about that. So I'm not going to talk to you about the script and like exactly what to say to landlords, because actually we have a course that we've released. The sales section of our Cracking Superhost course is going to be available now, and it goes over all of our scripts. It's like hours and hours of lecture. We even do a workshop in there, give you guys a copy of a lease and a lease addendum and all this good stuff. And so we can save you time, just direct you to that if you want my scripts. But regardless of why a landlord told you yes or no, there's going to be reasons why they might tell you yes later. And here's the magic of this is, let's say a landlord has a property that you find it on a Craigslist or Facebook Marketplace or Zillow. You call him and you do the whole I'm an Airbnb person. And that's coming in way too hot, by the way. Let me just, as an aside, say landlords need to start trusting you first. You need to build rapport with them, get them to kind of like you before you go and tell them all about your business model. Landlords who love Airbnb are probably already Airbnb-ing their properties. So the people who are going to tell you yes, it's discretionary. You can't just say, oh, I want an Airbnb, and they're like, oh, I love Airbnb. I just haven't thought to do it myself. You're not going to get that response. You're going to get people going, I don't know. See, Airbnb's got a volatile reputation. And so because of that, you may or may not get a good response. You'll get a neutral to negative response typically. So you don't just lead off with Airbnb, because you need time to build up with the landlord to tell them about the nuances of your business model, the value to him by working with you, what makes you special. And then you can talk about Airbnb as a method later. Regardless of why they told you yes or no, let's just say you found one of their properties. It was on the market for like 5 days. And you found it on the Facebook Marketplace. You made the call, you made the pitch, and they told you no. Let's say you did a dang good job too. Like you followed our scripts and somehow they told you no. Yikes, right? Well, it's only been on the market 4 or 5 days. They might think they're super confident they can get a regular tenant, what they're always used to, the status quo, and they're just going to go with that. Well, what you do is you keep that phone number. You make like a Rolodex. You make a like an online cloud where you've got landlord's name, the address, their phone number, what they said to you when you called them. Like, did they tell you take a hike or buzz off, or they tell you never call me again? You're still calling them again. And you're going to put all that in the database and the last time you called them. And so what you can do is you're going to wait 2 weeks or a month. You call that landlord back again a month later. Be like, hey, this is Sean. How's that property going? Have you found a tenant yet? No? Wow, that's rough. Have you considered taking on us as a tenant? We talked about this a month ago with corporate housing, Airbnb. No? Okay, I'll talk to you later. Bye. Then you call again a month later. Hey, this is Sean. How's it going? How's your property? Do you have a tenant yet? No? Wow, it's been like 75 days, hasn't it? Oh, that's right. I'm so sorry. That's really rough, man. It just must be a bad market. We really need to talk about, putting our company inside as a tenant in your property. You won't have to deal with this ever again. We'll pay rent forever. You'll never have to go a single month without rent. Can we meet? Okay, Tuesday. Cool. Great. I'll see you at the property on Tuesday. Bye. Click and you've got the meeting, right? So landlords will tell you no when they think they've got it together. Landlords will tell you yes when they're desperate. And this is kind of what you're going to have to deal with landlords. And that's why you never throw away a phone number, because 2 months later, that landlord that told you no because they thought that they had it all figured out and everything was going according to their plan, 2 months later, they're paying their mortgage without any rent. They're like, oh my God, this is the worst thing in the world. So they were risk averse. They didn't want to take on the risk of you as a tenant. But then when they have no tenant, they're like, wow, you're probably the least of their worries at that point. In addition, a landlord may not tell you no because they don't like your business. They may just tell you no because it's not in the cards at this moment in time. They might already be committed to another tenant already. They may have investors that are really strict with what they want to do with this specific property. There might be regulations in the city that are getting panned out. There might be all sorts of reasons why a landlord will tell you no at this moment in time. And you maintain a relationship with that landlord, and they may pick up new property somewhere else in a different city, different state, or just down the block, and they'll be open-minded on that property. So just because they didn't give you property A doesn't mean they're not going to give you property B. So anytime you make a pitch with a landlord and it's not going the way you want it to go, you can always try to maintain that relationship, provide them value somehow down the road, like try to help them find tenants and, provide them whatever you can, you think that might make them like you. But that way you can call again and say, hey, I hear you're picking up another property down the street. Or, hey, I hear your company's developing in Austin, Texas. I know that we couldn't do business in Dallas, but what about Austin? And they'll be like, oh yeah, we're breaking ground in November. Yeah, we're actually going to be breaking ground on a couple multifamily properties. Yeah, we would love to have you as a tenant if you can do that. How soon could you take possession? Be like, well, as soon as you have certificate of occupancy, I'll move in. We'll start right away. And they'll be like, wow, what a blessing, right? So landlords that tell you to go take a hike will, in another segment of the world, tell you, wow, you're perfect. Don't take no's personally. You guys are too afraid of rejection, so you're not talking to landlords. You're not getting on the streets, knocking doors per se, making those phone calls when you get the phone number. You're not networking at REI networks or at landlord meetups. You're not being bold about your business model because you're so afraid of getting told no. And every time you get a no or anything on the negative, you forget that phone number ever exists because you want to get as far away from that no as possible. That is bad for your business. That is dangerous, and you will not be successful if you do that. See, no's are a necessary part of yes. Absolutely. And in this case, sometimes a landlord that tells you no won't always. See, you might have to get 10 no's to get a landlord to give you a yes, right? 10 landlord no's, 1 yes. But what none of you are doing, newbies or pro hosts out there, you're not realizing that those 10 no's, 2 of them will tell you yes in a different circumstance. That's how valuable a landlord's phone number is. And you know what? They might refer you to another landlord. Let's say that they're doing business in Texas and you're doing business in Florida, just like the consulting call I had today. This guy has a huge contact in Texas. He's like, but they're only doing business in Texas. I'm like, well, you can do business in Texas. That's a killer connection. Otherwise, you can always ask him, does he know anybody in Florida? Why not? Don't be afraid to ask. That's what this is all about. Sales is about asking for the sale. You do this and you will have a big Airbnb business. Prospecting is one big part of this business because we pick up leases, we lose leases. This is just the nature of the game. It's attrition. I've been lucky enough to have leases last 4 or 5 years, but I still lose my leases eventually after 2, 3, 4 years. Like sometimes a property gets sold and the new landlord doesn't want to, do Airbnb short-term rentals, or maybe the property management company changes or regulations change or the landlord just changes his mind. Stuff happens. So these don't last forever. So in order to handle the attrition of losing those leases, you need to have a pipeline, a healthy pipeline of landlords ready at the go to give you their properties. And you can expand with one landlord and pick up like 100 plus properties. I know a guy in Chicago who started working with one landlord on a couple and then 5 and then 10 more. And he just grew with that same landlord. He's like, dude, I'll keep buying properties if you'll keep renting from me. Sometimes all you need is that one perfect landlord relationship, because what you're doing is you're allowing them to do what's safe. You're allowing them to pick up a property and never have to worry about tenants, right? They just want to buy and hold. They want to do what's normal. They want to do that whole debt pay down thing where they buy a property, rent it $1,600, where their mortgage is $1,400, and they hope that that'll get them by. And then 8 months later, they have like 6 properties, and they're, people like on YouTube are bragging, I control $4 million of real estate. Well, your equity in the real estate is like $400,000 or $600,000 in equity, and you're maybe doing $10,000 to $15,000 a month in debt pay down on all of your properties per month, which is super weak, and you're making no cash above it. Like there's landlords who that's what they want to sign up for. They want to sign up for that slow grind of debt pay down. But what you're doing is you're taking all the complexity away, aren't you? You can be their last tenant at all of their properties forever, and they'll never have to worry about missing another payment. You give them perfect financials. And they love that. So I hope this helps you guys. I hope I can pull you guys out of this fear of no. Like no is your friend. In sales, no is your friend. And we are selling landlords to get these yeses. We're selling them on a new business model that's actually good for them. All right. I want you to internalize that. You're a good person running a good business. This is a good opportunity. And landlords, they like you. Gosh darn, they should like you. You're a good person. So stay good. Stay awesome. Thank you for watching Airbnb Automated, and I'll see you on the other side.